across the street in our HOA doing the budget over there, so we're gonna see how fast we can get this done. So I'm calling the meeting to order. Can you do a roll call, please, Jennifer?
Councilman Hoschton, present. Councilman Adam Ledbetter, Councilman Jim Finley, and Councilman Antoine Ashton.
Okay. First off is the Residential Solid Waste and Recycling Collection Service, RFP. I think this is our third time to try to make this work. So, third time's a charm, you go with it.
Call to order.
I already did.
Need a roll call?
Yes.
Excellent. Sorry, I
Your
had to
turn.
step out there for a moment. This was a long time coming. So, what we have here is the vendor recommendation for residential solid waste and recycling collection. A committee of 3 professionals that I selected went over and reviewed these RFPs. What I'll do is back up and explain what we did as far as timeline. This project went out as a bid on October 23rd. It was advertised. There was the last day of inquiries about questions came in on November 1st. The proposal closing date was on November 8th. The projected award is tonight. And contract execution will be next week after some negotiations. So we followed the process, we put it out to bid, and we got a total of 4 proposals and an additional proposal that said that there was no bid, so therefore they were not evaluated. The individuals that reviewed this were given an evaluation sheet that had 10 criteria that were outlined within the proposal. And the proposal stated, give me one moment as I find it in the RFP itself. The information required must be submitted under separate pages with headings for stated requirements, and the proposal's authorized representative must initialize each page. This information must be submitted in full by all bidders as outlined in the proposal. And there were 10 items that were listed there, and those 10 items were defined saying what the items had to be. The 10 items were, and I included in the packet here the actual form that was filled out. They had to describe their customer service program, their operating plan, their experience and qualifications. They had to include the resumes. They had to note their disposal site. They had to give references. They had to include canceled contracts and reasons for them. The financial capability of each vendor had to be outlined, their performance bonding ability, and their fees. There were subcategories of each of them, so when the evaluators went through there, they could grade these. They were assigned possible points out of 100, and then those actual individuals that were doing the evaluations ranked each of the 4 proposals. We did them individually. We did consult and say, did you find this? Where is this? Where is that? And we all put together the firms, and we actually, as I compiled all the information, the proposals were exactly the same in every single one of our evaluations. What's before the City Council tonight is the listing of our scoring of how we did this, and to try to maintain as much, minimize any biasness in the City Council. Instead of giving the names of the firms, I actually lettered each firm as proposals A, B, C, and D, which is before you. The ranking of all of them had D, proposal D being the first preference, the second preference being proposal A, the third preference being proposal C, and the last preference of the 4 would be proposal D. The fees are outlined here. What was really good about this proposal is 3 of the firms were within $1 of each other, and this is trash and recycling. and one firm was an outlier that was about $5 off the rest of them. So those were taken in consideration in the weighing of the preferences, although that was not the deciding factor. That was just given a rating score. So tonight, of the three individuals, the recommendation before you is proposal D. What I would like for you, if possible, is a recommendation to proceed with negotiations with one, perhaps two of them. If the first one is not one that will negotiate right and be within what we're looking for and put it in my responsibility as an administrator, then I could move on to the second firm and start negotiating with them. Knowing that the total fees that they have proposed are locked in. The negotiation items that we presently have are date of, or day of, pickup, and we can talk about that tonight, and then also the color of the cans. The reason why that was not put in the proposal to begin with, previous council, to alleviate issues with previous council and make sure I could get this out on the street, I eliminated from that and left it in negotiation hands at a later date. So that's where we're all tonight, and I'd be more than happy to answer any questions that you may have.
I just have two questions.
Yes.
My first question is, when you say that they were kind of identical, so they were able to meet all those requirements, we gave two of the same size cans.
Yeah,
The stuff that's in the RFP is met.
right, the cans were 96 gallons, 95, 96, they're about the same.
Right.
And that is both a 96 gallon for trash and a 96 gallon for recycling. They'd be the same size cans.
Okay, and then, if we choose a company and we have trouble with them, what does the contract look like as far as termination? Is it
We
fairly?
have not set the contracts forward. There are some parameters that were outlined in the RFP, but when it gets to the contract, I'll work with our attorney and come up with how we can terminate them. There were some, like I said, some issues outlined in the RFP to begin with, and I can put those as highlights.
I read through that, I just wanted to kind of
Yeah,
touch
the
that.
contract, this sets some overarching parameters of what the contract will be. That's why I want a recommendation to negotiate with that individual to come up with a contract that I believe is the best for the citizens.
So you'd like for us to pick 1 and 2?
Yes, 1 and 2. So I would proceed with 1 and negotiate with 1 to finalize that. And I would bring it back to you. Obviously, you would bring it back, I'd bring it back, and you guys, the mayor has the authority to sign that contract. And then if it doesn't work out with that, I would be reporting back to the city council through emails that say, this did not work, I went with your second recommendation, we worked out a contract, and I bring it forward to the mayor to sign at that point.
Is the color really a big deal? It's just trash.
Some people.
No.
For some people,
No.
it is a great deal.
When I was campaigning, you know how many people said, I want my brown trash cans back and my recycling, and I want my trash day on Monday. It like threw them for a loop.
Like in our HOA, we have to hide our trash cans. You're not supposed to be visible from the street. So when you have a brown trash can beside a brown house, you can have like a rose bush that pretty much hides it. So it's a whole lot easier.
In my subdivision,
I-
it don't matter what color it is, it goes in your garage.
I feel your pain.
But now I agree with you. To me, the top priority, if everything else is kind of equal, is the money.
Correct.
Because the city, this is not what we charge other people. We have to add to this, and I don't want to come back with, what are we paying right now, $15.95? $15.50. I don't wanna come back with saying, oh, I'm sorry, but we've gotta go up to 18.
Now, keep in
Just
mind,
to have a
our
certain color or
present
something.
service is just trash. This service is trash and recycling.
Recycling.
For this one flat rate, right?
This rate is what we will pay them, trash and recycling. Now, there should be administration fees added to this because it takes staff time to put the bills together, send the bills out. Bills come in from the vendor to us.
That's right.
We need to put together our services and then send the check to them, but we handle all of that internally. So there's some administration.
So you saying you're charging
That's the way it is. That's the way it presently is.
Hey, guys,
No,
let us
no.
talk.
No, it's two different things here. It's just like any other service that you have. There are service charges added to it. So don't quote me on exactly what it is, but the cost from, the provider is like $13 and the city charges $15 because there's administration, and it's around it, don't take me exactly what those fees
Yeah.
are. But that's what it's, so on
And-
this is the fee they're charging.
Right.
Know that the city is going to add an additional service because we spend time to administer the bills, take the phone calls, do all those types of things.
Karen,
Ain't that the job?
now that's,
That's the job though, isn't it?
yeah.
That is our job,
But you
and that's
won't
why we
be
get
able to pay
compensated
your-
for that.
Yeah,
Everything costs something, nothing's free.
and the way it has been, and you guys will have to be on it, that if you're a senior citizen, it's $8.50.
Now, keep in mind, if that is an item and you go $8.50, the city, the citizens of our community are paying
That's right.
to subsidize
The older people.
the elderly. And it's entirely up to how you want to proceed, but keep that in mind, because that's,
That's the way it's done now, I'm just,
Just being honest.
that's okay. All right, we'll face that later, I just wanted y'all to be aware of that. So. what
any
is
other
it?
question, you had any more questions?
So you offered the subsidy, but you didn't eat the cost. So you expect everybody else to take up the cost.
I'm
For
not
the senior-
sure what
for the
you're
senior
getting at.
citizen, we're talking about the senior citizen discount, correct? So
Mhm.
we offer the senior citizen discount. If I'm not a senior citizen, I'm picking up the cost for not eating. The city
Absolutely.
is not eating the cost.
Absolutely.
That's not fair.
Well, that's just the rules.
That's
You,
the way it's
Yeah.
been.
as a city council person, you have the authority to recommend any changes of anything that we
That's right.
have, and you guys can vote on it, and it's our job to enact those. So if that's the will of the council and the mayor, that
That's
sounds
right.
wonderful.
I just wanted to give you a heads up on it so that you could be thinking about it. Because that's the way it's done right now. Because
It's because it's been that way, doesn't make it right.
well,
And it might be something to consider that maybe instead of subsidizing that amount, and I'm going to make up numbers, instead of paying $3, the elderly have to pay $2. But the service is really $1. So we're still making a much less of a money. But those are things we can negotiate.
yeah, these are things that, I mean, it's all open to you guys. I just wanted to kind of give you what it has been and where we are and where we're going.
Once we
Y'all can
get
think about it.
Once we get the contractor on board, I need to bring it back to you, so when they start, we know what the bills are going to be. And that'll be in the fee schedule. So you'll get the next crack at it.
Okay? Everybody good? Okay, does somebody want to make a motion?
I make a motion that we go negotiate with proposal D primarily, and secondary proposal A.
Second.
Okay? I have a first and a second. All in favor?
I think you'll start moving on this week, start making calls, work with our city attorney to make sure we can get the contracts ready. And I'll be back with you by, I believe, hopefully by the end of this month, beginning of December. We'll report back.
We've already asked them to be prepared to start this
Yeah.
later.
Yeah, and everyone knows that it's actually in the RFP that we want to get them started. The latest start date is, I think January 15th, but the anticipated start date is end of December.
We don't think we can do it before Christmas.
That's entirely up to them. Because now we're at the point where they need to order the trash cans, which is 1,000 trash cans.
If they can do it.
If they can do it, we're all on it.
Yeah, yeah, that, I understand, me too, I agree with
Put
you.
the ground there.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, anything else?
Motion to adjourn.
Thank you.
Second.
All in favor?
Yes, we
Run,
We're gonna get
run,
everybody.
run.
That's what
find out if we're the year A.
Let's go.